child is embarrassed by you. Your child doesn't want you showing up at school assembly. What do you do? Is this okay? Is it good? Is it bad? How do you deal with this one? Tricky questions. Today we're answering another one on the Happy Families podcast, Real Parenting Solutions Every Day, on Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson, and every Tuesday on the pod we answer your tricky questions about family and relationships and parenting and well-being and screens and discipline and school assemblies. If you'd like to submit a tricky question, we've got a super simple system at happyfamilies.com.au. Scroll down to podcasts, click the record button, start talking. It's literally all you've got to do. Or you can email us a voice note to podcast with an S at happyfamilies.com.au. All right, Kylie, let's have a listen to this one that comes from Amy in Melbourne.
My 8-year-old told me today that she's embarrassed when I come to watch her performances in school assemblies or to help out at school. I asked her why, and she said it just makes her feel embarrassed and that she doesn't like it. I felt a dagger through my heart, but told her that if she felt embarrassed, then I would respect her decision and not come, but I'm dying inside. I was always so sad as a kid when my mum didn't show up to things. Is this age 8 appropriate, and how do I handle it?
Well, Kylie, I don't know about you. I don't want to be cynical about this because I feel the dagger in the heart. I get it. You're laughing. You know where this is going, don't you?
She's off the hook.
She's
off the hook.
If I never have to go to another school assembly for the rest of my life. Oh, I love that Amy wants to be there, and I get it, right? Like, you're proud of your child. They're going to be...
Well, take assemblies out of the equation.
Okay,
if your child says they don't want to be in your space because they're embarrassed by you.
Or they don't want you showing up and doing tuck shop or volunteering in the class. Or
that's literally the worst thing you could possibly be told by your child.
It is. It feels horrible, and you love your child, and you just want to be involved, and they're saying, get out of my life, and it does hurt. So,
but I can promise you, Amy, if you tell her that you want to take her out for ice cream, she'll be there in a flash.
Yeah.
I don't think this is as much about her being embarrassed by you in general, but there's something specific about the school environment that leaves her feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah. So let's just at the outset highlight what you're experiencing. Totally normal. Happens to lots of parents, even with children as young as 8. I distinctly remember the day where I said to my parents when they took me to the movies with a friend, it's okay, I'll catch up. And I didn't want to be seen with my parents. My dad was wearing his polo shirt tucked in with his Levi's and his belt and his sneakers. I don't remember what Mum was wearing. And Dad had the sort of the balding head and the mullet off the back. And I just thought, I can't be seen with this man. This is completely inappropriate. So my friend and I walked in about 10 metres behind them. And our kids, I don't know. I don't want to make this about physical appearance because that's not really what it is. I think what's really going on is, for whatever reason, they're becoming more self-aware. They're starting to notice how they compare to peers. They're starting to develop their identity. And this is a developmental stage that can trigger unexpected reactions.
I remember when I was in high school, my mum would come and pick me up and she would have her religious music blaring, like literally at the top of our stereo system, which was not a good one.
Listening to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir in the high school car park. I love it.
So I would get her to pick me up half an hour after school finished at the back gate.
Mum, I've got so much study to do. I'm going to be in the library. I'll see you at the back gate.
Because inevitably I would open that car door and the music would just spill out all over the ground.
Wow. Yeah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. That sort of stuff. In all seriousness, it does hurt as a parent when your children are... It feels like they're rejecting you. You're saying, I'm here to support you. I want to celebrate your wins. That hurts.
But I think for Amy, what's actually more is the fact that her experience as a child was about not having her parents there when she really, really wanted them.
Yeah.
And our whole experience is clouded by our own personal experiences and the perspective with which we take. So her heart's breaking because she knows what it feels like to not have a parent there, and all of the emotion around that. There's a few things that really stand out. She has a child, number one, who feels completely comfortable to share her feelings, her inner feelings with her mum.
Just doing it in a clumsy, insensitive, lacking empathy kind of way.
That's huge.
Yep.
That's huge. Even when it hurts, that's huge.
And that's developmentally normal that you'd have a child who's not particularly sensitive to your feelings. They are pretty egocentric.
But number two, the recognition that your child is having their own experience. It's not tainted by yours. your reaction is tainted by yours, but their experience is different. And to me, the fact that she doesn't need you there actually suggests that she knows you are there for her. It actually, to me, suggests that you're doing a great job because your child doesn't feel like they need you to see everything that's going on in their world for them to feel seen, heard and valued.
All valid
they already
points.
Feel it.
Yeah, all valid points. It still hurts though, doesn't it? Because you just love your kids so much. After the break, a couple of action steps to help when your child is pushing you away and rejecting you. Okay, Kylie, Amy's got a child who is saying, it's my life, stay out. I'm 8. I'm a big girl now. I've got my big girl pants on and I can do this. I've just got a couple of action steps that I think are going to be helpful. We can go through this reasonably quickly. I don't believe that it's massively complicated unless we want to make it so. So here are my action steps. Sit down and have a hot chocolate or a chocky milkshake, some milk and cookies, just a treat, and say, I want to have a follow-up conversation. The other day we were talking and you said to me that you were embarrassed if I came to school. Is it when I wave? Is it when I volunteer? Is it when I sit in a certain place? Is it because I go...
Is it because I wear bright green pants and
is it
purple
because
shirts?
Scream out, go Abby, you're the best, in front of everybody when everyone's quiet. Get a little bit of context around why she's feeling that way. I think her answers are probably going to reveal that you might be able to make some simple adjustments rather than be completely absent. They might not, but they may.
So when our eldest daughter started swimming and she made it through to districts and regional, it got harder and harder for us to communicate together in a way that she felt comfortable with, especially once she was on the block. Because I was the mum, who was pretty excited to see my daughter there and was larger than life. So we actually came up with a little trick to communicate together. So she would look up at me and I would actually just take my right ear and I would give it a wiggle with my hand, and she would know that, number one, I saw her, and number two, that I loved her and I was with her every step of the way, and she would return it.
And you didn't have to scream out in front of everybody and make a spectacle.
And it was just a beautiful way for us to communicate in a way that felt good for her.
Yeah, it's so practical. Here's my next idea. Offer compromises. So you might say, well, what about if I sit in the back? Or what if I show up but I don't volunteer? Or what if I come to some events but not others? Which events would you be okay with me attending?
So I think this is really important because I don't feel like just because your child says something that you should forego the things that are important to you as a parent.
Yeah. And you're the one with the prefrontal cortex and you have feelings too.
These are significant milestones that parents not should, that's probably not the word I'm looking for, but we want to be a part of. And so finding a compromise that works for both of you, like wiggling your ear with my eldest daughter,
or attending some events but not others,
is a really beautiful way to acknowledge, I hear you, but my needs are important too.
I want to pick up on that. The third thing that I was going to say really aligns nicely, and that is that we have the right as parents to share our feelings in an age-appropriate way with our kids. So a script like this, I get that you're embarrassed, and I respect that. And
the last thing I want to do is leave you feeling that way.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also feel a bit sad because I love seeing you perform, or I love seeing you do all the announcements on the assembly. And I'd love to find a solution that can work for both of us because you're important to me. And when we do that, our children hopefully will develop the empathy and have the compassion for our situation where they can say, well, yeah, okay, I get it. I reckon I can work with you on this. So that's pretty much it. I think this is likely going to be a temporary thing, particularly depending on how you respond to it, Amy. Kids feel differently about their parents being visible in their lives, depending on the age and stage of the child and depending on the relationship and the connection and those sorts of things. I think have a chat with some other parents in the school, see if the other kids are saying the same thing as well. Maybe this is one of those little cohort things where one child says it and then everyone else becomes a repeater. They all just decide to go down that track.
It's interesting. Once upon a time, you would have had nearly every parent there representing a family because most of us stayed at home and we weren't in the workforce. And nowadays, that's not it. So you're actually kind of the anomaly if you are attending because there aren't that many parents around. And so maybe for her, she's kind of like, why is my mum the only one who shows up? Like, it literally could be just that simple.
Yeah. And I think, again, building on
Maybe
what
it's
you've
because
said.
you go up and give her a big hug in front of all of her friends.
It's about trusting that this is support, right? I love this child. I'm supporting her. Be supportive in all areas of her life, but not controlling. Supportive, but not controlling. Be involved. And I think that over time, she'll look back one day and say, Mum, you're always there for me. You're always there, and we communicated, and I'm so grateful that you made the effort even when I was resistant. Sometimes this stuff just takes a while to come out in the wash. Hopefully, Amy, that's been helpful. If you'd like to submit a question and have us wrestle with your tricky question on a Tuesday, we've got a super simple system, happyfamilies.com.au. Scroll down to where it says podcasts, click the record button, start talking. It's really that easy. Or you can email us podcasts@happyfamilies.com.au with a voice note, and we'll answer you at our next available opportunity. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. For more information and resources to make your family happier, please visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.